Hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on volume 14 of Yona of the Dawn. I'm so excited. The last volume, a lot of things happened. We had Tae-Jun died. We had an actual death by the hands of his own soldiers. We had a battle. We got to see Suwon engulfing his freaking falcon. We got to see Yona have angst and resolve with Suwon. We got to have Hak with angst against Suwon. I feel like Yona is in a much more stable place with Suwon right now, oddly enough, than Hak is. Like, Yona seems to start to understand that Suwon is doing things to benefit the kingdom like she is, and she's like, So the gears are turning in Yona's head, but Hak is still like, you betrayed me? It's like, oh my god. Jae-Ha is becoming a matchmaker, maybe. And then Suwon is kind of taking over where Yona and Tae-Jun started and helping to reclaim the Fire Tribe. He's taken a village back from the Kai Empire with the Izagrain. He's going to help them get back on their feet. And we're moving to the Water Tribe now. The very mysterious Water Tribe, because we know nothing about them. Other than the general, the story has not talked about the Water Tribe at all. Like, it's framed the Fire Tribe since the beginning because there's the tie-in to the mythology and the whole dragon story. So the Crimson Dragon King and the dragons being tied to the Fire Tribe, that's been since like volume 3. That's been like since the beginning. And the Earth Tribe has been really prominent with the whole thing with the Pirates of Awa, with the whole thing with Guntae. Like, that's become a really big thing. So we focused on the Earth Tribe, we focused on the Fire Tribe, we know about the Wind Tribe from Hak, but we know nothing about the Water Tribe except for the General. And we know very little about him. So it's kind of cool that we're going into new territory. No clue what we're getting into. Don't know what kind of story. This series has been so good with weaving in things from the past into the future elements, and I really like that. So I don't know what to expect out of this. I really don't. I don't know what we're about to get into, but I'm really excited. So I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I really love the cover. We're going to see it in a minute. The cover of this is gorgeous. But yeah, I'm really excited. I liked volume 13 a lot, but it was kind of like the rounding out of Tae-Jun. I feel like Tae-Jun's arc was kind of in 10, 11, and 12, and 13, and Suwon was kind of thrown there too. So Tae-Jun and Suwon had some focus from volumes 10 through 13. And now it seems like we're kind of moving from them into something new. So we didn't get a lot of dragon, a lot of Hak last volume. We ended up with Hak and Yona going on that date to the archery range, which was gorgeous, and Yona and Hak are kind of maybe figuring out they have feelings for one another and they should probably do something about it, but I don't know. So we'll see. So let's go ahead and start. I'm really excited, everybody, to see what happens in volume 14. So in any case, we're going to start that here in 3, 2, 1, and oh my gosh, look at our dudes. Oh my gosh. How get it in there? No! How get it in there? Oh my god, no! What was this volume? I didn't want to like interrupt during it because it was so tense. This volume, like, we've taken a tonal shift. There has been a tonal shift, and it is dark and violent, and oh, buddy. Okay, so the Water Kingdom, huh? The Water Tribe. Oh, the tone of this series is like, it's time to, like, get serious, take a shift. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. So yeah. Huh. Okay. Y'all. Oh my god. So yeah. So this volume, I am kind of stunned at just where all we're going to in this. Man. So this beautiful place, the Water Tribe, this beautiful place, and it's just sinking, it's drowning in this like drug addiction. Okay, we're like going through the motions of what all bad things can happen, but just this indifference. There's so many parallels to characters, so many callbacks, so many references. But again, our happy, hungry bunch, there's nothing happy or hungry about this volume. Oh, buddy. But yeah, so first and foremost, Jae-Ha and Hak. Oh my god. So lots of things happening this volume. Lots of things happening. Yona's been slashed. Tetra's been stabbed. People getting slashed. Those guys are like gonna just straight up kill this Hyo dude. Oh, okay. But, so Jae-Ha just being, I like that Jae-Ha is blaming everything on the blood, first and foremost. Jae-Ha is blaming everything on the blood. Like, it's all the blood's fault. I'm after Yona because the blood's telling me to. It's nothing to do with my personal feelings that have been developing over these last volumes. No. So I feel like Jae-Ha's kind of shameless in his actions because he feels like it's just the blood talking. It has nothing to do with me. But I feel like Jae-Ha, even though he's playing like matchmaker with Yona and Hak, he is a little jealous. And it's just that he doesn't want to leave her side. And so he wants her to be happy. And she's not with Hak. She's not as happy as she could be, and that's bothering him. But he also wants to be closer to her, and he's denying himself, so that's bothering him. So Jae-Ha's a hot mess in this volume. And then he does the whole thing with the drug. I'm glad they established that it's for somebody that's really weak-minded, that it really affects, and that Jae-Ha just has to get through the withdrawals. So that gives me hope that Jae-Ha will be okay after all this, because I'm like, dude, oh. But yeah, the whole thing about the red light district, and Hak is not interested in anybody but Yona or Suwon. Like, he's not anybody else. He's very demisexual, if I was to give Hak a sexuality, because nobody else he even shows any remote concern for, you know. So we have our first manager thing here. Hello, this is Kusanagi. Thank you very much for reading volume 14 of Yona. I'm working as hard as I can to get each chapter out. And here we are at the beginning of the Water Tribe arc. This is an insignificant detail, but I've made a minor change to Jae-Ha's outfit. I believe he got them at the Drifters Market in the last chapter. This collar is connected to his outerwear, not the clothing underneath. Okay, cool. So Jae-Ha had a little bit of a clothing change. Cool. But yeah, so he's like, why do I feel awkward around Yona? And it's just, he blames it on the blood, but I'm like, Jae-Ha has grown to get closer to these dragons and to Yona and Hak. He just doesn't want to admit it, right? Because that he thinks it's going to tie him to that destiny, but he's just grown close to them just like he has with Gigan and the others. But with Yona, he does feel like he wants, you know, to be near her, and at the same time, he can see how awkward things are between Yona and Hak, and he can see that Hak likes Yona, and he can see that Yona likes Hak, so he's trying to set them up together, but at the same time, he's frustrated because while he's trying to set them up, he has feelings. Jae-Ha and Hak are very similar. Very similar characters, and I like how he establishes the other dragons are very innocent and pure, and Jae-Ha and Hak are kind of like the darker dragons, even though Hak's not a technical dragon, right? But the whole thing with the drug house, so he sees the nails are all chipped up and sees that these girls are like all addicted to the drugs too. Yep, and he tries to keep them. And he compliments her, right? He compliments the girl, and she feels really happy about that, and so she feels hesitant to give him the wine, and so he takes the drug anyway to keep her safe, right? And then they're so sad about it, and he ends up getting drugged. And he's drugged to the point where he can't jump away, right? And he has like flashbacks to his village, talking about meeting Gigan. And then his poor expression, like whenever Jae-Ha's eyes get so bright and wide looking at Yona, oh. And he feels like, I love that panel where he says, I see my home already lies there. Like he ran away to seek freedom, but his freedom is with his home, and that's with Yona and the other dragons. And they're all around him, and that's when he stops feeling cold. And he's like, I feel like my dragon blood is forcing me to want nothing more than to be at your side. But I think that part of it could be the dragon's blood, but the other part of it, I'm like, no, you just really love them, and you just don't want to admit it, right? But man, him going through Nadai, the drug, the withdrawals, and him just like going through it, and it makes people violent. So yeah, they're like, you need he's like, I doubt he wants anyone to see him like this. And I love that they all stand guard over him. They're like, no, he's going to get through his withdrawal. We're going to be with him. It's going to be fine. And then when he wakes up, Yona's beside him. Oh. And I love that Hak, like, looks over him like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, you leave Yona alone. So we have our second manager thing. You know, back in Volume 10, I talked about a phone charm of Tae-Jun prostrating himself. But some strong individuals, readers, are asking for one of Hak-chi looking handsome. My assistant Oka said that if she had to marry someone, it would be Hak-chi. Oh, I do like Hak-chi a lot. He's great. So yeah, so basically they keep him there and everything's fine. They get Jae-Ha through everything and they decide that they're going to go back and find where the source of the drug was. But Jae-Ha's like, no, they need to know that it's a drug, that it's very dangerous. They don't need to be around it. And so him and Sheena kind of have the tussle, and he tries to escape, and then Sheena catches him, which I think is wonderful. But yeah, this volume takes a drastic tone shift, because we go from just, we go from people being poor and hungry and famished to there are dead bodies in the river, and no one's fazed. This volume was very serious, and the tone was very serious. It's like, there wasn't a lot of humor this volume. Not a lot. It was all very, very, very serious. And I like that. I like that we're getting that tone shift, but whoo buddy. But we see like just these people plagued by addiction and just see how it ravages them. And I like that they question the merchant. They're like, well, why don't you leave? You're a merchant here. And they're like, I've lived here my whole life. I can't just leave. My whole family and livelihood's here. You just got to deal with it. And that's so relatable, right? That's so relatable because, I've grown up in not the best places in the world. And it's like, well, why don't you just leave? And it's like, well, when you have family there, it's hard to do that, right? But so they establish, again, the Kai, I know we have Jing and Se, which are the other two kingdoms that are plaguing us, but Kai Empire seems like a pretty big negative force right now. Because South Kai is distributing all of this drug into the ports and everything, and that's what's causing everything to go bad. And then it's just the only way to get through it is either to vomit immediately or endure the withdrawal symptoms. And I just love that Jae-Ha's like, I'm going to protect you no matter what. Like, he fought the withdrawal to get back to Yona, right? And he doesn't want them to get involved in saying how dangerous it is, but Yona's like, look, I'm the princess. I said I was going to do this. Yeah, things are getting serious, but I can't back down now. Otherwise, she's like, it's not just that I have a grudge against these people hurting my own citizens, but they hurt you. And I am mad about them hurting you. And I'm like, ugh. I'm like, she cares because Jae-Ha was drug into all of this. And, man. And I like the Hawk's like, it's rare to see you get so emotional. And then Jae-Ha's like, when I'm with her, I do all sorts of things that aren't like me. And I love that the Hawk's saying, He's just looking back at her. So RiRi! We get to Lady RiRi in this volume. She's interesting. She's very much like Yona. There's a lot of parallels between her and Yona. I think she's going to have a major crush on Yona by the end of this. I think Yona's harem continues, and we're going to add RiRi to it. I'm pretty sure. I think RiRi by the end of this is going to be like, Yona, if you're not interested in Hak or anybody. But what I love about this is that she is such a parallel of Yona, right? But she's a parallel of Yona, but it's the weirdest thing. She is, the princess in a palace. She has the attendant or the attendants of Tetra and Ayura. And she's very spoiled. Her father wants her to have no part in anything going on. Her father is very much like King Il. He seems very much like King Il. He's passive and doesn't have anything to do with anyone. He just wants to let it all ride out. It's like, well, there's nothing we can do. We need the trade. He's just very pacifist, right? Very much like King Il was. And so there's that connection there. And she's this spoiled princess who just goes all Princess Jasmine and runs off to the village to investigate things. But how she's different from Yona at the start is that Yona at the start of this series had no interest in her people at all. She had no knowledge of what was going on outside the palace, had no interest in that. And this girl seems to be RiRi seems to be an in-between of where Yona was around volume 5. She seems like she has an interest in her people, but she's looking at it through a very rose-colored glass that she doesn't realize just how serious the situation is. And she just wants to get out of the palace and go gallivant around. She doesn't realize how dangerous it is. And Ayura and Tetra are there to try to just protect her. And that image in chapter 79, just watching, where she's looking out the window, her robes and everything, and even the hair ornament looks like Yona's. It looks like the hair ornament that Suwon gave her. It all looks very similar. It's interesting. And I'm sure that's not coincidence, right? That she's meant to be a parallel of Yona from the beginning. I like Tetra and Ayura. I can't believe Tetra got stabbed. What? Is she gonna die? I don't know. I'm like, are we killing this character off? But we killed off Sujin. Ever since we killed off Sujin, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. And so, yeah, they travel around, and RiRi notes that her father doesn't act on any of it, right? And so she suspects that Jae-Ha is a trafficker because he dressed in Kai Empire clothing. I was wondering at some point if somebody was going to recognize Jae-Ha's outfit and think it was like he was from the Kai Empire, if that was the case, but he just likes the fashion. But she notes all of them, and she's wondering why in the world Yona is traveling with them, of all people. And so, yeah, she talks about running away and everything, but they end up going back and running into them again. And so her father just is so passive, he won't do anything. And she's like, well, then what can we do? And so she gets suspicious of them because they go in the inn next door, and she decides to go investigate, right? And so we have the manager's things here. One of RiRi's attendants is named Ayura. What should we call the other one? Hehe. And this is the manager talking. Since one is Au, sweet fish, and the other should be Saba, which is mackerel. Mackerel? I wasn't thinking of fish when I named her Ayura. They're from the water tribe, so fish should be fine. Iwana, Yame, Yamame, or Tetra. Tetra sounds most like a name, so we settled on Tetra. So they basically named these two girls after fish. That's fun. I like that her and her manager had a question of how to name them. But yeah, so they go into the hall, and my God, Yona as the dancer, the happy dancer. Like, just bringing it back from Fire Tribe, and her outfit is most different from the Fire Tribes, might I add. She's in, like, barely a top with just barely a skirt, just dancing all around, you know. I'm surprised Hak has a lot of patience. He has a lot of strength in him to let her go out in that outfit and not be like, ooh. And I love the panel where it shows, like, the men, you don't see their faces, you just see their eyes, and you see the black butterflies dancing around Yona, and then you see the web, like they're trying to catch the guys in the web, and you see Zeno juggling as usual, and Jae-Ha's playing the flute, and Sheena and Kija are taking watch, and Hak's taking watch. But yeah, of course RiRi mucks it up by getting in a fight with one of the guys, and they establish that the drug makes you violent, and so he fights back and punches her in the nose. And then I love this, that Yoon gets Jae-Ha's attention. Jae-Ha looks stunned. Kija and Sheena are like, what? Hak looks mad. Zeno looks like he's about to run over there and take care of business. I love it. And then Yona just jump kicks him. My girl. I love it. Yes, please. It's so good. And then we get this shot of her with the hat after jump kicking, and it's like a love at first sight shot where RiRi's like, what? And then they give us, Sensei, you give us that beautiful, beautiful shot of Hak. I didn't know I needed it, but thank you. I'm like, I ain't complaining. I'm not complaining. No, sir. No, sirree. But yeah, like asking if she's all right. Oh my God. But then everybody gets in a fight. There's people being violent. And Zeno comes in to jump on him and get him to run away. And Kija, when he has his hand over the guy's face and his eyes look so dead, he's like, I'll crush your head. And Sheena's like, can I cut him down? Like the dragon's blood, like Kija and Sheena are like in protect mode. Oh my God. It's intense. And then Hak and Jae-Ha are like, they're keeping cool, but oh my God, but they're all in protect mode with Yona. Like, this volume feels more serious. Everybody's acting more serious, and it's about a serious subject matter. It's about addiction. It's about trafficking these drugs and about people like getting addicted and dying from it. Like it's rough. It is a rough arc. And so Yona helping RiRi to calm down. And so Hak notices one of the attendants, Tetra. He notices her and notices RiRi's name. And they notice Hak. They think something similar. So they've met each other before, right? I feel like maybe during the palace when they visited, they've met each other before. And so that's how they know each other. But them thinking that something's up with Hak. And so, yeah, them deciding to go to the red light district to investigate. They left Sheena and Zeno and Yoon behind because they were too pure. It was just Kija. It's the three strongest went, right? They could do the most physical damage, right? So if something happened, they'd be able to defend themselves. But whenever RiRi and them were like, when Tetra and Ayura saw RiRi injured, they like instantly like drew swords and were ready to throw down. So I love that they're there to protect her. That's great. But yeah, this moment here where they look at Hak and they're like, and they're like, Ayura, Tetra, and Tetra says that person looks familiar. Interesting. And so that's when I love RiRi has the trees and she's like incognito and she's like, I'm just planting trees. Like it's so good. It's so good. But we got another thing from the manager. Some people are asking why Hak and the others don't say anything about Yona's dancer outfit in chapter 80 getting involved. Oh, yeah. Hang on. I think I made a note about that. Flip. When Kija sees the revealing dancing outfit, he offers her a belly band. What the heck? So that's all she has. Is just Kija offered a belly band to hide her stomach. Okay. I mean, I'm sure Hak wasn't complaining. But yeah. So I love this. I love that going back to just back in the anime when Yona was offering the tribes people, like the people of the fire tribe, like food and water that were collapsed on the side. She's offering water to the guy that's going through withdrawal on the beach. And I love that RiRi acknowledges, what most people would be thinking, like, aren't you scared this man was pinning you down yesterday? And Yona says, yes, but he's been weeping because he hallucinated killing his family. Like, these drugs have really messed these people up. And what a conversation to have about drug addiction and how easy it is to fall down the rabbit hole, right? Like, it's so emotional in this volume. This scene of them on the beach treating the guys with the addiction, and then Jae-Ha, like, it's like wants to bring you to tears because it's so real, right? She says, why would anyone take a drug like that to begin with? And Jae-Ha's like, well, for all kinds of reasons, I'd say. But in this case, at this specific place, these people were either tricked or forced into it. So yeah, I like that the author, the mangaka says, yeah, people take these drugs to start with for a lot of reasons. And we can't judge them for it. But this addiction's like destroyed them. And it's so true. Like, if you've ever known somebody that's gone through addiction like this, it's hard and it's rough and it's painful. And it's just, oh man, it made me emotional, like, reading it, because I know, like, personal connections to people I know that have suffered through this, and it's a lot. And I just love how tastefully and classy the mangaka handles this very serious, very real subject matter in this fantasy world. It's very well done. But yeah, Hak being like, it's okay, and we're just going to the red light district, but Hak's like, I'm not going to be doing things, so just try to relax. Here's the thing. Hak's like, we'll be right back. Try to relax while you wait. I'm like, when Hak comes back and sees she's been slashed, it's over. Like, I'm already like, oh my god. Like, if it wasn't late at night, I'd read volume 15 now, but I can't, so I'm going to have to wait. But, oh my god. Like, and then we get to the bath scene, and I like that she's just, you see Yona, her body's all covered in bruises from her sword fighting. And she's like, no, it's to make me stronger, right? I love that meanwhile, Yoon and Zeno and Sheena are sitting there like scrubbing their backs. It's cute. But I love that Yona says, she's like, I don't want to be a burden. And they're like, well, you've got all these guys protecting you. Like, come on. Why do you need to protect yourself? But then she says, besides, I want recognition. Like, she loved, and she thinks back to that moment when Hak praised her for shooting the arrow. She wants to hear that again. And they're like, oh, from someone you fancy? And she's like, oh, it's not like that. And it's like, mm-hmm. And they keep denying it. She's like, it's not like that. And so she keeps denying everything. But Ayura says, that man Hak, there's something curious about him. And they ask if she has an eye for him, and she's like, don't be tedious, Tetra. Teasing you is no fun. So yeah, Ayura's like, you know I'm not into guys. Like, that's like basically what she's saying. And she's like, actually, I agree, to be honest, he's been on my mind too. So yeah, there's something about her and her attendance. So there's some connection there. There's some connection between Hak and the attendants and RiRi, and we just don't know what it is yet. They've met each other before. Something's up. They've met each other before, and they tried to pass off the fact that Yona was just a girl that looks like, has the same name as the princess but isn't the princess. So I have a feeling they're going to figure out that who everybody is at some point. They're going to figure out at some point in the Water Tribe. I just feel like it's coming, right? But yeah, but our guys, I like that, again, just like Hak and Jae-Ha are so similar, right? Hak and Jae-Ha are very similar. And Jae-Ha, when he saw the girl's nails were brittle and he tried to clean them and everything, he took pity on her and he tried to take the drink away from her to help, right? And so in this case, Jae-Ha is teasing Hak, and Hak sees the girl's teeth are like, she's missing teeth, her nails are grimy, and I love that concerned look on his face. I love that Hak's like, oh, we need to take action. We need to do something. This girl has obviously had the drugs, so she knows what's up. This is where we're going to get it from. And Hak being seductive, okay, like that look where he was like, tonight, I think I should think about what's right here. And that girl's like, oh my God. And Jae-Ha's like, oh. And it took me a second to realize that Jae-Ha instantly realizes what Hak's about, because Jae-Ha knows that Hak is like demisexual for Yona. Like totally just in it for Yona. So whenever he starts getting flirty with that girl, Jae-Ha realizes that the plan is going into action. This is the time. We're at the right place. And Jae-Ha's like, gotcha. I got it. And Kija's just like, mm-hmm. Like they all get what's going down, right? And for being seductive, Hak can pull it off. Hak can pull off being seductive. Yeah. When he talks about seeing enough by moonlight. And oh my God. Like just pouring it down his sleeve instead. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah. And just faking being asleep. Mm-hmm. Like, it's great. But I'm like, oh, if this is Hak fake being seductive, I don't think I'm going to be able to handle him doing it for real. Nope. And then, yeah, they manage to get the guys all tied up, right? No problems there. And so they try to find out who's in charge of it all, and they find out that it's Hio. He's about 35, but he looks very young. Which is curious because RiRi said, like, I don't care about, because they were like, oh, do you fancy any of these boys? And RiRi's like, I'm not interested in anybody until they're 35, and she's 17. So I'm like, that's a weird number for her to just randomly throw out, and then we meet this guy who's 35. Very odd. Like, I'm like, mangaka, are we setting something up here? I'm like, you're not setting up this Hio guy with RiRi to be a thing at the end of this, are you? Are you? What? I don't feel like it. Especially after he stabbed Tetra and Yona. It's weird that there's that coincidence that he's 35 and then RiRi made the comment that she didn't want to be with anybody unless they were 35. But this last chapter, oh my God, doing her with the sword fighting and then them stumbling upon Hio. And so the inn owner getting mad because they're serving that drug in his inn. And so this guy Hio has a big old scar across his face. He's very self-conscious about it, and so he constantly tries to use his bangs to hide it, and he has a mirror. And he apparently has a shrill voice like a woman's. Like his voice is really high-pitched. Interesting. Like he has a very feminine, high-pitched voice. Okay. But But poor Tetra, girl can defend herself. She like punches him, kicks him. Our girl, the Water Tribe chief, making sure that these attendants can take care of RiRi. But she getting stabbed through the door. Oh my God, that was oof. And this guy, and the fact that he stabbed and could have stabbed the subordinate but didn't care. Like, just establishing his character in an instant. Like, he does not care if he stabbed her or the subordinate. Oh, he's bad news. And this series is getting more dangerous and darker. And I'm like, I don't know what to make of it. Oh, no. And Yona being like, I've got to try to protect. Like, I can't run away. We've got to try. If we run away, Tetra will die. So we have to try something. And I love that she employs all the moves that Hak taught her to, like, strike him down. But then this other guy steps in and slashes her. Like, show. Why? No. Kija and Hak are going to kill this person. Jae-Ha and Sheena probably will too. How dare you end the volume here? No. And just her fighting to survive. I'm not going to surrender this injustice. And I love that RiRi's like, I want to become someone like her. I want to be like her. And I feel like RiRi is going to go through the Tae-Jun treatment, where she's going to go through this arc just like Tae-Jun did, just like Yona did, of finding this self-worth and ability to have agency and act on it and have this courage. And oh my God, but Tetra's like been stabbed. Yona's been slashed in the back. Unless Hak and all them show up at the next minute in the next chapter. What? Oh my God. Apparently, the stage play that I have access to, that I'm going to react to later on once I get past like volume 18 or whatever, because there's apparently spoilers. Apparently that stage play covers this. What? I'm ready. Apparently it's supposed to cover volumes 14 through 16. Okay. Oh my God. I'm floored. But yeah. So we have one more manager thing here. Everyday life. Planning to laze about. I have no ideas. Oh dear. At times like this, you should have PewQ go on a big adventure. Former editor. A story from A's perspective might be good. Current editor. Why not have PewQ go on a big adventure? Letters from readers. I want to see a story from PewQ's perspective. Many have had the same opinion. At times like this, you should have Pew. Why does everyone want PewQ to go on a big adventure? Let's do a story about people. I love that everyone wants the squirrel to go on an adventure, and the mangaka's like, I need to get back to the story. Oh my God. Oh. So yeah, this whole thing. The Water Tribe dealing with this. The Water Tribe being a big parallel of the Sky Tribe. And the whole passive thing with the General and the King comparisons. Yona's comparison with RiRi. RiRi's comparison with Tae-Jun. The whole thing about addiction. The whole thing about there's trafficking from the Kai Empire just like an Awa, but it's a different type of trafficking. It's dangerous and lethal. It's affecting all these people and the towns. And it's not just in this one town. It's all along the coast. So it's just, they found the source. They found Hio, who's the source, but oh my God. And this is crazy because unlike last time where Kumji was, on a ship far away, like trying to run away, this guy's not running away. This guy's like, no, I'm staying here. I'm going to fight. So that is a big difference because Kumji was a coward. Like he had other people do his dirty work for him, but he was a coward. He ran as soon as he could. This guy's standing his ground because he's like, I got these guys to fight for me. Why would I run away? And it's like, oh my God, it's crazy. But, oh, y'all. Oh. I couldn't really get too much into the voices for this volume because it was also dour and gloom and just the tonal shift was crazy. But Jae-Ha and Hak get more and more similar. Jae-Ha realizing maybe that thinking it's the blood, but maybe it's something more. We got a lot with Jae-Ha in this volume and a lot with Hak and RiRi and Yona. But, oh my God. Oh. This volume seems like it's a setup. It's the start of the new arc, so it's just setting up, but things are already chaotic, and I don't think I can wait a week to read volume 15. I just don't think I can. I think it's going to be a couple days, if that. It's too late now to start, but I definitely can't wait a week, because I'm sorry you all have to. I'm so sorry, but oh my god. You can read the volume in the meantime and then come back and we'll read it together again. But holy cow. So I'm really curious to know your thoughts down below, what you all thought of this. This volume was madness. But what a tonal shift, and what a way to start the new arc. Okay. I really like RiRi. I like her attendance. I don't want Tetra to be dead. This Hyo guy seems like bad news times 10, but I guess we'll find out in volume 15. So, in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back next week with volume 15 of Yona of the Dawn. Bye.